Hi, welcome to our Thursday version of devotions here at Trinity. I'm Pastor Kevin Lentz, and I bring these to you every Thursday. And right now we're working through the book of 1 Corinthians. We've gone through the first 8 chapters, so today we're going to pick up at chapter 9. And St. Paul talks about how, yes, he proclaims the gospel. Yes, he's happy to do it. He makes himself a servant in doing it. But he makes a valid point. Doesn't he also have the right to be supported through it? Shouldn't it be a means of finances for him? Because he talks about how there might be some unfair expectations of him, but he used the example of, don't the farmers or the vineyard owners get to enjoy their fruits or their grapes? And other examples as well. So we give thanks that he is very frank about it, that workers within the church should be supported, and that we give thanks that they are doing that for God's kingdom. I'm thankful for my fellow workers here, Nikki, as well as Ian and Alyssa, for all that they do for God's people here at Trinity. I enjoy working with them very much, but it's also right, they're giving their time and working hard. Shouldn't they be supported for the work they do? And that's the point that St. Paul makes in the first number of verses in the chapter. He continues, though, with making a very good point about how he makes himself a servant of all people for the sake of the gospel. I'm going to read a couple verses now. Verse 19 and continuing. Though I am free and belong to no man, I make myself a slave to everyone to win as many as possible. And that's a great point. Yes, we are completely free. Christ has done the work. We're saved, we're redeemed. We don't have any obligation. Now, we're thanks for our faith that we do believe the truth about who God is, but we owe our lives to God, not so much mankind requirements or things like that when it comes to faith, because we've been, like I say, washed, cleansed in our baptism to be the people of God. So he says that even though he's free, he makes himself a slave. That's a choice he's making. I make myself a slave to everyone to win people over. He continues, to the Jews I became a Jew. To those under the law, I became like one under the law. To those not having the law, I became like one not having the law. To the weak, I became weak. Now he makes the point every time, I did all those things, became like those different people in their different stations in life for the sake of winning them over, connecting to them so I can share with them the message of the good news of Jesus Christ. He continues, verse 22, I have become all things to all men, all people, so that by all possible means I might save some. I do all this for the sake of the gospel, that I might share in its blessings. He makes the point very well. This should be our mantra as well. We should, as God's people, who God has placed the church into our hands, do our best to relate to people, connect with people. In other words, as St. Paul says, become all things to all people. To win over the world, it'd be wonderful if we could. But like he said, we become all things to all people so that we might win some. We probably won't win over all people, but we can do our best. We can connect, we can relate, we can understand, we can walk in their shoes. And so that's why St. Paul says, I do all these things for all these different people in the different places in life to connect them with Jesus Christ. And we give thanks for his message. He talks about running a race. They don't do so aimlessly. They go into training. And we are also running a race as well. He said, I beat my body and make it my slave so that after I have preached to others, I myself may not be disqualified for the prize. Making the point that, yes, I proclaim the gospel. I share the truth. I've told people about Jesus, but I'm not forgetting Jesus is for me as well. I go into strict training for my faith. I don't just preach faithfulness. I hold myself to be faithful to win that ultimate prize, eternal life with God. So we give thanks to this chapter. He does a wonderful job of speaking about a couple of different topics, but he also makes it very clear to understand that we are indeed to be all things to all people so we can win over as many people as we can for the sake of Jesus Christ. Thank you for joining me here today, and I look forward to seeing you Monday for our sermon recap.